Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace to you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us on this evening. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're about to do. So let's get at it. Let's get active. So I appreciate everybody's already in the chat. What's up with that? Good to see Transplanted Texan in the building, and as well as Retireds in the house. When you're raised right, it lasts a lifetime. Good evening to you as well, friend. Good to see you as well. All right, so doing something different tonight. I am no script at all. I got two topics I want to talk about. I've gone over them pretty thoroughly, so I feel good about them. And we're just going to talk about them tonight. Now, let's jump into the weeds, so to speak. Y'all all saw that video of that young man. I made fun of him too. That was driving his car, and he Zoom called in to the court because he was on suspended license, and he was actually driving the car, and it was crazy. It was wild. Now, since then, I've had several people send me, first of all, the judge, I think his last name is Simpson, he has an entire YouTube channel, and it is comedy. It is such rich comedy. But another thing I realized is this is not the only person that's done this. There's so many people that are on suspended license. They don't show up. They Zoom call in. They're driving the car while they're Zoom calling in. Man, it is wild. Okay, it's wild. Now, I bring that up because, of course, you probably thought of it, and I said it even in the initial video. I'm sure there's something else to this, and I think I said it out loud, but I know I was thinking it. I bet you it's because of child support. I just had a feeling. And I don't remember if I said it in the video, but I did. I definitely knew it in my heart because I've heard so many guys get pinned get their license suspended because of child support. It's crazy. It's craziness. But, I mean, I think we can have that discussion. So what I want to do tonight, we are going to let's look at the video, the initial video again, and then we're going to look at the follow-up and give it a little bit more context, a little bit more coloring. You still probably will land where you were before, but let's just give it a shot. Let's go.
Versus Corey Harris.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be present via Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Great.
Bless his heart.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
Okay.
Now, if you're not
So
familiar,
maybe I don't understand.
the reason what the public defender was asking for was basically, hey, let's put this off for about 3 to 4 weeks. Basically, that's what an adjournment meant. She wants to basically put it off. I think it's because she realized like her client is driving the car and he's on a suspended license. That's what I think is happening. Why she said, hey, she's trying to call it audible literally in the middle of the game. But let's let it go.
Understand something. This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. When we look at the case, we'll kind of get a little bit more understanding, a little bit more coloring in here, because it doesn't make sense. He knows he's on suspended license. Whether it should be suspended or not is a moot point. He knows while he's wheeling and driving that car that his license is suspended. But let us go. So it's kind of conflicted. bless his heart. Look at Judge
Um,
Simpson.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
okay.
All right, so that was the initial video, and I think we all kind of, I mean, it went viral. It went viral because everybody thought, like, what a big bonehead. Okay, so matter of fact, in the chat, if you think that the gentleman is guilty, please put a police car in there. If you think the gentleman is innocent, put something else, a sheep. There you go. Put a sheep in the chat if you think the gentleman is innocent based upon this video right here, not based upon what we're about to talk about. But what do you think? I would love to hear what you think. This is such a wild story. And I mean, I'm empathetic to the young man now a little bit more after hearing the whole story. And we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to drag it out too long. I'm not going to try to even keep y'all here just for the likes and the shares. But I just wanted y'all to hear that. So let me know, what do y'all think? Do you think the gentleman is guilty? Drop a judge or a police car rather in the chat. And if you think he's innocent, then go ahead and put a sheep or something like that. Some innocent little baby. All right. It looks like most people at the current moment are throwing a book at my guy. Mark is out there throwing a book from the Harrisburg campus. We got Independent Mail in the building. We got from the video alone, Transplanted Texan says that the book shall be thrown. I agree. I'm with you, Independent Mail. Shout out to you. I'm with you. Most of us agree that, hey, he should have the book thrown at him. Now, Dear Woke Christian has done a little bit of digging. He's done a little bit of investigative journalism, so to speak. And I don't know, man. I feel like, I don't know, in my old age, I'm just becoming a nicer guy or something like that. But we're going to look at, I had it out of place. Sorry about that. All right. Why was the driver in a viral video's license still suspended 2 years after the judge ordered it lifted? So, cut to the chase, spoiler alert, the man actually paid everything that he needed to have paid, and the license should have been unsuspended, should have been reinstated 2 years ago. So let's go talk about it. Let's go. Friend of the court never sent over the clearance for Corey Harris's license to be reinstated. And let me just say this real quick. If this gentleman is smart, I know I tell you all the time, I'm an idea guy. I'm an idea fountain, okay? If this guy was smart, he would not sue the Michigan state court system. He would not do that. He would not sue them, okay? What he'll do, I'm sure they're going to make they're going to make restitution without going to jail, without going to court. They'll fix that. They'll make it right. Then if I were him, I would get myself an agent and I would become a spokesperson for some kind of insurance, whether it be like the General with Shaq or with State Farm or Progressive. I would ride this thing into the next generation. If I were him, I would not go about suing. I would try to capitalize on this and become like a spokesperson for auto insurance or a car restoration situation, like a body shop type of deal. I would try to become a spokesperson and get paid off of this. I mean, I'm trying to tell you right now, if he was smart, that's what I would do. Okay, that's what I would do. I wouldn't even worry about trying to sue the state of Michigan. Of course they're wrong. Of course they're wrong. But I would look, it's right now, and we're going to see in a second. They're making it right, and I would do my best to try to capitalize on this. I would call State Farm, Progressive, Allstate, the General, whatever. I'd have them all on the phone trying to negotiate being a spokesperson for them. Because can you imagine? Like, how funny would that be? Him doing a car ad for Progressive? Who's the one that has like the Mayhem, the guy that's Mayhem? Can you imagine him being a spokesperson or being in an ad with Mayhem or with was that Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is there? Can you imagine that? All AAA. Come on. I just think it would be hilarious. And to me, because I think the story, in my opinion, has a little less, is not as, when we had that dude in jail that night. We had that dude in jail because we were like, is he gonna catch an Uber? Is he gonna get a bird scooter? Is he gonna walk to jail? I mean, we had that dude under the jail, right? I think now that would be such a funny way to capitalize on a really bad situation, but showing that he's able to overcome it. Because I kind of like the guy, but let me bring him back over. Let me bring this back over and let y'all realize what I'm talking about. The video of Corey Harris that went viral has garnered a lot of laughs, but it is no joke for Harris, who is trying to understand how he was even ended up being charged with driving while suspended license. Okay, here's the raw video. And I'm going to drop the link to this whole thing because the whole video is a little bit more informative as well. It's a lot longer than the one that we saw, the viral one. And of course, the shorts are even shorter than that. But it's like 4 minutes long. So there's a little bit more in there, a little bit more context. But let's go on. The suspension is tied to child support. I remember, I really believe I said that in the initial video, that I bet you it was because of child support. Child support with Saginaw County, friend of the court. I have no idea what a friend of the court is. I don't want the court to be my friend. I want to be away from the court. We can stay completely and totally away from each other. I don't want to be a part of the court. But let's continue. And in January 2022, a judge ordered that the suspension be lifted and allow Harris to drive again. And here's a detailed pic of that being suspended, the suspension being lifted, okay? But according to Michigan Secretary of State's office, they never received a clearance from the friend of the court in 2022. So apparently the friend of the court is not his friend. Clearly, the friend of the court is not his guy, okay? So Harris's suspension was never lifted. Okay, and so here it is. All of my children are from my wife, my one and only wife. I'm not wagging my finger at anybody about child support. I'm not anything of that nature, but my goodness, in the morning, child support just seems like such a scam. I'm sorry. It seems like such a scam to men because think about it. You could get your license revoked, your ability to travel to work and to do your life because you did not pay child support. Not saying you shouldn't pay child support. What I am saying, however, is that if something comes up, some reason or another, they take away your license, that just seems so lowbrow. It's like kicking a man when he's down. If a man loses his job, he hasn't been able to find a good employment yet, so he falls behind on child support, y'all suspend his license so he can't go to work. That just seems very unfair. But that's the way the world works. I disagree with it. But needless to say, it was suspended, and then it was supposed to be reinstated. Harris recently appeared in a courtroom video that showed him driving during a virtual hearing on a misdemeanor case that stemmed from a traffic stop in Pittsfield Township in October 2023. So this is where I'm not certain. I'm a little bit conflicted on, being totally forgiving of the guy, because he knows that he has a suspended license because he got into he was pulled over at a traffic stop and they identified him as having a suspended license. He knew he had a suspended license. So the fact that he was driving, and look, I ain't fronting on him. I'm sure, look, I probably would have drove too, I ain't gonna lie. But, so I'm not mad at him about that. I'm not judging him in that regard. All I'm saying is that, dude, at least, and his wife was in the car. If you go back and watch the video, you hear his wife talking. So he really was taking his wife to the doctor. Dude, just let your wife, I'm sorry, man. If your wife can't drive, because maybe she has a health issue, which again, I'm not judging that part, then just park the car and sit in the passenger seat, sit in the back seat. That's all you got to do. And I'm sure he's probably thought of 100 different ways that he could have addressed that. He could have stood outside the car. He could have waited till he got in the doctor's office. He could have done a whole bunch of other things, but driving need not have been one of them. But let us continue. So here you see he got the misdemeanor, okay, like that. Harrison said that he was driving his wife to the doctor because of a medical condition was worsening. Okay, totally get that. I totally get it. But you did in fact have where you were driving the car. you were driving the car, my guy, and you know that you shouldn't have been driving the car because he was in court to see Judge Cedric Simpson because he had a suspended license. So I'm trying to be gracious to him because I feel the guy's pain. All right. So here's that video that we've all seen right here. Once Judge Cedric Simpson noticed that Harris was driving, he asked the attorney who is representing Harris in the courtroom. The defense attorney confirmed that driving on a suspended license was indeed the charge Harris was facing. I got it. I'm not laughing at him. It's just the amount of comedy that this thing is invoked is crazy. Oh, that's much better. Let me do this. Wait. All right. Do it a little bigger. Okay, there we go. What's unclear is why Harris's case wasn't resolved by his public defender or the Pittsfield Township Prosecutor's Office months ago. That's what I don't understand. So that's why I'm willing to give him a little bit of grace and wrap my arms around him because I don't know why. It does seem like he was just in a sucky situation. I ain't gonna lie. It just looks like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Because you see it in the guy's face. When he hits the head back, you're like, oh. It's just like everything went wrong that he did not intend. And I'm willing to give him that. So let us go. It took less than 5 minutes for 7 News Detroit. They want you to know that they are investigators, right? To search Saginaw County court records to see that in January 2022, a judge rescinded the order that suspended Harris's driver's license so he could be reinstated. Okay? So technically, even at the traffic stop, he wasn't on a suspended license. They just did not have it in the system. I can get that. I can dig it. I really hope this guy, I'm telling you right now, if he is smart, he is on the phone with Allstate. He is on the phone with Progressive. He's on the phone with Goodyear Tires. He's on the phone with somebody trying to capitalize on this. Please let him do that. Because, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious if you see him on a general ad or, Michigan is hands-free. So maybe he's on a Mint Mobile commercial or T-Mobile commercial using hands-free. Come on. That would be so funny. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. I just want that to happen. Okay, that's what it is. I know what it is. I'm trying to speak those things that be not as though they were. I'm trying to speak that because that would be the high watermark of comedy. And I think that would be such a good ending to this story because, it does suck that the guy, all this happened to him and apparently it shouldn't have happened. So he's kind of like the laughing stock, if you will. I think I saw him on the Breakfast Club. I've been talking about him. If you do a search, there's tons of videos about it. I hate it for him, but boy, if he could come out of this thing on a payday or come out of this thing on a come up, so to speak, I think that'd be hilarious. I don't even care. Let him host Saturday Night Live. I just want him to come. I want something good to come out of this for him. And I know some questions. Somebody asked, did he pay his fines? Yes, he paid his fines as far as I know. It's these current fines, I think, are the problem. But let's keep going. 7 News Detroit has reached out to the prosecutor's office as well as Harris's defense attorney's office. And speaking to the public defender's officer, a county spokesman said they do not comment on ongoing court cases. The Saginaw County friend of the court has also not responded to our calls. But Friday afternoon, the Secretary of the State's office confirmed that they never received the clearance from the friend of the court that would have allowed him to be reinstated after he paid some fines. So he paid his fines and the receipts or whatever should have gone to the proper Secretary of State's office to reinstate his license, which to me just seems like a big, huge reason, red flag for the size of government. But I digress. So he already paid his fines. And he was on a suspended license. Now, yeah, yeah, he shouldn't have been suspended. He shouldn't have been suspended. This is Kyla Crane, Deputy Legal Director for the Michigan Secretary of State, said helping people clear up suspensions on their license is exactly why we created the Road to Restoration Project program, where they hold clinics across Michigan helping people sort through the complications of getting their driver's license reinstated. Well, there you go. I want this guy to be on, I want him to be on a Progressive ad or State Farm or whatever. Please let that happen. That would be so funny to me. I'm just going to keep saying it. There's a gnat in my office. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to keep saying it. I just want to keep decreeing and confessing it or something. I really want that to happen, because if that happens, that would be the best. Sometimes it's simple as we at the Secretary of State's office did not get a clearance from the court that everything was done. But something happened in the wires, and we needed to talk to the court to get the clearance and clean it up for the resident. And that's what Crane said. Crane said that the process can be complicated and people don't often know what they need to do to get reinstated. Okay. But see, that's the reason why I think that this is not a shining moment for government. Okay. This is not a shining moment for big government. So this is the same government that y'all want to take care of your health care. I'm just saying. That's why we provide that one-on-one consultation with the resident to help them understand what they need to do, she said. According to and adding that sometimes people are afraid to go to the Secretary of State's office or the court for fear of being arrested. Crane said that the clinics provide a safe space for people to work on resolving their issues. At their clinic, or rather at our clinic, we're able to spend as much time as the resident need to go over their driving record, help them understand what they need to do, she said. Okay, and there's some more information there. I don't need that, and that is the end of it. So I don't really know where he is in the process, if you so to speak. I don't know where he is in the process. It looks like it was a clerical error, and I am praying that he's able to get this resolved and get back on the road. All of his fines are taken care of. Maybe they get him a free detail and, some Krispy Kreme. But I really do want this guy to show up on an Allstate ad. Please, 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 please. If he shows up in a Goodyear tire ad or a Mint Mobile or T-Mobile or AT&T discussing hand-free, let me tell you, first of all, Michigan would be smart. You know what? Not even the corporations. Michigan would be pretty smart to tap this guy and have him be a spokesperson for this program that they have. What about that? Because his face is everywhere now. So if you put his face on that and I see his face and he's talking about how to get reinstated for get your driver's license reinstated, I'm paying more attention than I would be if I was watching this young lady. I don't know her, but I know this guy because I laughed at him for 20 minutes watching that video. I'm just saying. Michigan, holla at your boy. I'll take consulting fees. So what do y'all think in the chat? Let me know what you think. I do want to shout out Independent Mail. Thank you so much, man, for the gracious super chat. You know what I got to do? You know what we got to say about that? We got to say, Rico. He's going to sue. What you're going to say is, what you're saying is work. You're right, man. I just want the brother. Look, I want the brother to come up because you can sue, sure. But if you got an opportunity to get your face plastered all over the place and meet people and shake hands and become and move up in the class system, why would you not want to do that? I'm just saying. To me, I understand what you're saying, but I think there's another way to handle it. All right. And you know what I'm doing? You know what I'm doing over here? I'm making Quentin the stream sponsor to this show. If I can spell sponsor for some reason. Yeah, that looks right. If it's wrong, blame it on the friend of the court. What is the friend of the court? Because clearly they're not that man's friend. Clearly, the friend of the court was not the man's friend. How about those biscuits? But no, that was hilarious. So yeah, you're right. You're right. I understand. But I mean, I think it would be better off, in my opinion. All right, let me see what I saw some good questions in here. I know Fred asked earlier, did he pay his fines? And Fred, good to see you, man. Grace and peace, my friend. Thank you so much, Angel Wings, as well as Transplanted Texan, for dropping all the various and sundry Dear Woke Christian links and such in there. Shout out to my moderators. You all add so much value to this live stream. It's amazing. I really do appreciate it. Texan says, justice delayed is justice denied. I can dig that. I understand what you're saying, but hopefully we can all agree that something has been done. It was denied, or rather delayed, forgive me, but it wasn't denied indefinitely. It was just delayed really long, and now it's made right. Man is going to sue for generational wealth per YouTube suggestions. I mean, I'm hoping against hope, but I think deep down inside, I know he's going to sue. And I mean, I don't think he's wrong for suing. Let me say it like that. I don't think he's wrong for suing. However, I think there's a better way. The ticket clinic, that sounds like they need a spokesman. They need a spokesman. Okay, how about this? He sues Michigan, but these corporations and companies at least still approach him. How about that? I think that should be the case. Because it's comical for sure. Man should sue. Okay. Just tuned in. How is the state wrong? Well, the state is wrong because the gentleman did in fact pay everything that he should have paid. Now, of course, we can have a discussion about him driving while he's on the Zoom call. I think we could have a valid discussion about that. But he did in fact do everything he was supposed to have done. They just didn't do what they were supposed to on their end. And good old Fred says, as long as the criminal justice system involves humans doing their job they were hired to do, there will always be cases like this. Now, that is true. It is all state. Yeah. Mayhem. Like, that would be crazy. Imagine him driving. Okay, here's a state for all state ad. He's driving. He's got mayhem, doing all the mayhem things. But at least he's like, well, at least I got my driver's license. Come on. That would be so funny. Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. Now, I'm not saying it's so hilarious that I would change my insurance provider, but I am saying that would be hilarious. All right, what we got here? Thank you again. Even Angel Wings is shouting out independent mail. Thank you so much. Helping out the RICO charge. Absolutely. Friend of the court is an advocate body. Well, let's call him like a part-time friend, because clearly this friend of the court was not doing a good job or did not do due diligence. So we can call him like sort of kind of friend, but not an enemy. We'll call him frenemy. How about that? Of the court. I think I've heard, now that you say advocate, I do kind of think I've heard that term before. It seems like every state has some different titles. Do you know how many people's lives have been turned upside down because of lazy people won't do their jobs? Amen and amen and amen. Yeah, not sure how that helps anyone. Wait, are you talking about my idea? All right. It's equivalent to owing the mob money and they break your hand seriously. How on earth are you supposed to work under those circumstances? I don't know. And please understand, you could have your license suspended, and you see this man had his license suspended because of child support. It is very well possible you could have your license suspended and not even know it. So you could have been suspended for something. Again, he could have, who knows what happened with his situation when he was behind on child support or had some child support issues. It's just too many variables in there. And not saying driving the cars are right, but like, man, like you take away the guy's ability to be gainfully employed and get to work and carry his wife to and fro and take care of his family. That just seems like a super kick when a guy's down rather than a way to help, in my opinion. Some people just don't drive. I agree. I know lots of people who don't. Poor man was too honest for his own good. That's true. And it cost him 2 nights in jail. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Matter of fact.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Yeah, because I'm telling you right now, if I'd known that I was on suspended license and I'm calling into the Zoom call because I'm on suspended license, let me tell you, I got a green screen while I'm driving. It looks like Starbucks. I mean, I'm faking it. I'm sitting in the back seat. I'm doing something. You're not going to see me driving. I am not going to get a meme. I'm not going to become a meme. No, ma'am, no, sir. Yes, as far as I know, he paid his fines. So I'm assuming he paid the fines related to this. He's probably going to sue to get that money back and whatever like that. But yeah, so that is wild. I see lots of going back and forth. Lots of what's going on, his servant. Good to see you. Don't want government in my health care. I protested Obama's bill in D.C. Amen. All right. Now, Jason, I think you should be his manager. Hey, let me tell you right now. I told y'all, man, I am the king of ideas. I'm the idea king, okay? You give me enough time. I'll come up with an idea. I will come up with 45 ideas easily. You don't have a clue how much I could do. So that being the case, man, just holler at your boy. Hey, Mr. Driving Without a License dude, call me, man. I'll be your manager. Absolutely. Is that Kevin Briggins in the building? Good gracious, man. What's up? Kevin Briggins, shout out to another great content creator. Shout out to you, Kevin. Drop your link in the chat so people know what you got going on. I don't know what you got going on because you haven't called me lately. But change that, man. Change that. Holler at your boy. Today's society is all about instant gratification. Retire says, get the most you can as fast as you can with no effort. That's true. I mean, I totally get it. If I had the opportunity, I'm probably, if this were me, I can't promise you that I would not be trying to sue either. But he has a public defender. So I'm not thinking that he has the means to get a high-end lawyer. Now, sure, you can get a lawyer that would smell blood in the water and do this pro bono until they get, if you don't win, we don't get paid, that type of situation. Sure. But I'm like, you know what? If the state says, look, our bad, we're going to reinstate this, we're going to fix this, that, and other, and we'll get you full detail. I might just be willing to take that. They made me right as best they could. And I'm willing to take that, and I'm going to try to use this fame, use this notoriety, use this memeage to carry me further on than trying to negotiate and fight with a lawyer. And what happens if I lose? What happens if I only get $50,000 and I got to pay the lawyer 30% of that? When it all washes out, I mean, this is not $1 million case by any means. Maybe 250, maybe. But I don't even think even that. I'd love to hear what an attorney would say. So I'm thinking in my mind, 250,000, maybe. I got to give them at least 75,000. So when everything washes out, I might get 100 and some change. Sure, that's a come up. Or I could go over here and ask the General, State Farm, Allstate, and all these other insurance agencies, try to become a spokesman for them. That's a longer tail. You get more activity, maybe go through an ad agency. There's a lot of ways to skin that cat. In my mind, I totally get the suing, but it's not going to really turn into much. And then if I'm not mistaken, there are cases that you can sue, the attorney can get 40%. I don't remember. I want to say I heard that. I know the general practice is 30%. So again, if I sue for $100,000, I win $100,000, my attorney would get 30,000 of that. But so to me, in my mind, I'm like, I would be better off and a lot less headache because I don't really like trying to understand lawyers, because every time I call you, you're charging me money to call you. Every time I email you or text you or come to your office, I got to pay money for that. To me, I'm not mad at them. I mean, y'all got to do your thing. I ain't mad at you. You've been in school 45 quadrillion years. You deserve to get paid what you deserve to get paid. I just don't want to pay you. So I'm thinking maybe it'll be easier to go this route. Sure, I might end up needing an entertainment lawyer. Sure, I might need somebody to review the contract. Absolutely. I would much rather that than worrying about trying to fight in court, the state of Michigan. That's just my little 2 cents. Yes, your idea is better. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. There we go. Look at Kevin Briggins. See, you come to the best live chat on the planet, Kevin Briggins. You get shout outs from me and you get the moderators take care of you. Bro, we give you love over here, man. We giving love over here. Shout out. Thank you so much, moderators. Thank you so much. He was so excited. He was. When he was backing up that car, he's like, and I am here. He was happy. He was big happy. But because I really believe that's why I don't think that he meant this to be nefarious. I don't think he was like, yeah, I'm sneaking around driving without a license. I don't think that was the case. I think he really did think everything was square. And therefore, because I mean, you saw him get deflated when the judge said, you got, what did he say? You're still on suspended license, and like his head went back. So, oh my gosh, you saw everything just went. I really don't think he meant that. I don't think the guy, again, he could be a scoundrel. Okay, he could be. I just think he was trying to do the right thing. He taking his wife to the hospital, to the doctor. He had this call. Let me just do this call, and that's why I don't think he was thinking that much about the fact that he was driving. But I did see another montage of like all these different, because this judge even himself has had other people come in, Zoom call in and be driving. And then there's other court cases. There's like a whole side of YouTube, another neighborhood or suburb of YouTube you don't even know about. Like all these where the judges basically live stream all day. It's like a whole thing. My guy, I didn't know this was a thing. I did not know that. Yeah, like I just don't think I would want, if I could. Now again, maybe it might be a situation where there's no way around it. You got to sue them. They're not going to make it right. They're going to say they're innocent, and you got to prove that they're wrong. You got to bring in your receipts. Okay, fine. Let me get an attorney, and we'll write it into the retainer that the state has to pay my legal fees. Okay, then that's fine. And maybe it'll take a year, maybe it'll take 2 years, maybe take 30 minutes. I don't know. I just don't like it. I would rather, and again, I could be wrong. I've reached out to other attorneys since we've been talking about law stuff anyway, because I don't know anything. I'm a pre-K law student, right? So I would love to hear, like, is that possible to do that? Amos Crete, friend of the court. I don't know, Joseph Early, if you speaking in tongues up in here or what, bro. We speak English up in here. Okay, amicus curiae, friend of the court, is an individual organization that is not party to a legal case, but that is permitted to assist a court by offering information. I love it. Okay. And okay, I can dig that. I can dig it. And that would make sense, like it's another form of a court advocate. That would make sense. He was big excited. I'm not making fun of him. He was excited. That dude, he meant business, okay? All right. Let's see what we got. A friend of the court is a non-court official that is legally permitted represent you in the court as a next friend. It's illegal in many states, including Georgia. Yep. Let me tell you, but see, the reason I don't know that, Fred, is I try to stay out of the courts. I try to stay out of the courts. I know where the court is, and that's about as good as it gets. And by his precious grace, I will stay out of the court system until they like read my will to my kids. That's about that's about as much as I want. Thank you so much. Please, yes, if you do like this content, don't be afraid of that like button. That like button is okay. It likes you too. Just go ahead and just boop, give it a little boop. All right. And you don't have to say boop though. That was pretty wild. You don't have to do that, but just go ahead and hit the like button. It won't hurt you. The loss of a license for back support helps nobody. That was my point. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like what's the purpose? I don't get it. I don't get it. That would be akin to like taking away a farmer's tractor. Like what's the purpose for, okay, fine. He was speeding down the road in his car, but why do you take away his tractor? Like that doesn't make sense. I'm sure I'm saying this with tongue in cheek. I'm sure there's a reason behind it, But I can't see a good reason why take away somebody's means of employment. Like, what if they're a courier? What if they work for FedEx or UPS or something of that nature? They do delivery, for crying out loud. Why would you take away their car, their ability to drive a car, because they didn't have money to pay child support? Which, again, I think you should take care of your child support and your duties and responsibilities in that regard. But why take away their car? It just seemed like draconian. I mean, we're definitely in a society where a vehicle is kind of utility at some point, especially here in Atlanta. A vehicle is utility here. I mean, that would be akin to turning off people's water in some regards. Suspended license seems weird when you need to get to work to pay for the support. I mean, make it make sense. Maybe I'm just a Luddite, okay? I admit I don't know everything. I'm a pre-K law student. The mobile green screen. Oh, absolutely, man. I literally have a mobile green screen. So I was doing a podcast for somebody and they wanted me to put their logo behind me. I was doing like a second chair host situation. So they sent me this big giant, it looks like a peacock green screen. Like, it would literally cover this whole screen right now. And then I could just change it to whatever the background was. I put his logo on the back. So that was that. So it's in the closet. If anybody needs it, let me know, because I don't have a need for it. If you have need for a green screen, holla at your boy. That's something actually I want to do. I have a lot of equipment that I've upgraded or equipment that I no longer use anymore. And I would absolutely, if I could, I might actually start offering an offer up or something, or do like a little eBay deal, or like a podcaster's mystery box. You know, I got an iPad and microphone and mic arms. That might be it. Maybe I'll do a podcast creator mystery box and tell you everything that's in it. Everything will at least work, because I think everything I have that I'm talking about at least works. Now, whether you need it or not, whether you like it or not, it's on you. But maybe I'll do that. I might do that, because I would love to get rid of it. And I hate throwing stuff away that's good. It's just I don't need it. And I would hate to just pitch it when somebody maybe could use it. Maybe Briggins could use it, or maybe Quentin could use it, or whatever. OFAM says, I know all about clerical errors. I feel for him. I'm trying to tell you. To me, I felt bad. Let's just be honest, okay? Let's just tell the truth, okay? I got a good hearty chuckle out of the initial video, okay? My name is Jason. I can't lie to y'all. I laughed hard, okay? I mean, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. But even while I was laughing, something just said, like, there's got to be more to this story. There has to be more to this story. Like, what happened? And so, like, and we even talked about on the video, like, did he drive to jail? Did he get an Uber to jail? We were all wilding out, acting crazy. And somehow or another, I know somebody emailed me as well. Shout out to them. I want to say I know who it is, but I don't want to misspeak. But somebody emailed the story to me. But I had also heard it as well, that it was child support. And so I had already started looking. I got the email with this link in it. I was like, oh, this is it. And so I felt sorry. And I felt like a guilty pleasure laugh. Like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but this is so funny. I feel so bad for him, but I cannot stop laughing. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason Kevin Briggins cannot call me is he can't afford my rates. That is hilarious. That's why Kevin Briggins doesn't call me. I was wondering why Kevin Briggins doesn't call me, and my rates are too high. We need to insert that man, the guy that was saying the rent is too darn high. Remember him? That guy, I want to say he was in New York. The rent's too expletive high. Okay, well, now I know why Kevin Briggins doesn't call me. He did look shocked. Okay, I got another funny video another funny article for us. Okay, I gotta stop talking to y'all. That's me, the pre-K law student. No boop, must smash. There we go. Thank you so much. Clap till you drop. Smash the like button. Absolutely. All right. You need the green screen, Fred? It's yours. Hold on 1 second. Asher. Okay. I think President Firstborn is She was in there. Let me tell her. I don't worry about it, Fred, because I'm going up to Kennesaw tomorrow anyway. I will hit you up, and it's yours. It is yours, free of charge. Yeah, I think okay. I think y'all already heard this. My name is Jason, and I'm an idea guy. I think it's because as a former school teacher, you have to have a lot of ideas. Okay, you have what's on your lesson plans, and then you got what you're going to actually do. And then what if something goes left? What if something goes right? What if things explode? So you really have to have a lot of ideas. Okay. At one point, we used to have like 2 lesson plans. We'd have the lesson plan that's on our desk. So if our principal ever came in, he or she could see what you're teaching. But then we'd have the lesson plans that we would actually teach on our clipboard or on our laptop or on my cart, ready to go. That's what I'm actually following. But it was really as close to what's on my desk. So if somebody came in, it wouldn't be like we're doing math. I'm sorry, we're doing addition, single digit, but on the lesson plan, it says we're doing, long division. So it wasn't anything crazy like that. So I think that's part of what happened, because I could come up with 1,000 ideas. It is a joke. Like, just give me enough time. If you want, give me a notebook and give me enough time. I'll fill the whole notebook up with some of the craziest ideas you've ever heard in your life. So long story short, I really like helping content creators. So that's why I started the studio. That's why I started Podium Studios here in Marietta, to help people who want to create content, and if they don't have a means to do it. So we gave them a high scale, a high value facility. You just come in, just do your recordings. Bang, everybody's happy. Everybody's taken care of. So in the process though, you know what? I hate throwing stuff away. So I'm a minimalist, but I hate throwing stuff away. So it's hard for me. That's why I always try to find something to give somebody or sell it to somebody. So I have a lot of equipment from my studio, from Whitaker Park, so on and so forth. So I'm going to put it in a box and post it on eBay and say, hey, anybody wants a podcast, maybe we'll call it the podcast starter kit or whatever like that. I got mic arms, I got lamps. I'm going to do that because I'd love to give it to somebody or sell it to somebody, stuff that they're going to be able to use versus just putting it in the garbage or giving it away to Goodwill. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking, I promise you. But no, I see my friend Nakia. I got to say something. I got to holler at Nakia. What's going on? Good to see you, sister. We'll be checking in Atlanta next month. Seeing it beside, what? Are you for real? We'll be checking in Atlanta. Please. Tawanda, I thought you lived here. You got my email. Please do not come to Atlanta and not introduce yourself. We'll go get some coffee. We'll go get some wings, whatever like that. We'll go look for Fonnie, look out for the real Rico, all that stuff. Absolutely. All right. Good to see you. Let's see. All right. Now, see, and I think that's another reason why early on in my teaching career, I taught for 15 years, early childhood education, first, second, and third grades. My stilo was, don't bring me problems. Don't bring me problems. I got enough problems. I got 99 of them and yours ain't one. Okay. However, you can bring me a solution and then we'll go from there. Now, I will tell you this. I never had a kid do what I always regretted or always thought in the back of my head, somebody's going to do it. They're going to bop somebody in the nose and say, Mr. Whitaker, my solution was to punch little Tommy in the nose. Nobody ever did that. And I'm really glad after 15 years, nobody ever tried that. But I always thinking like somebody's going to just punch somebody and say, little Tommy kept bothering me. You told me don't bring any problems to you, Ms. Whitaker. So I punched him in the nose and that was my solution. I'm so glad it never happened. But I did I've heard some crazy ones. Let me let you know. I had some crazy ones. But at the end of the day, it did help my students. God, you know what? I want you to think critically about stuff. And I'll say, hey, that's a really interesting solution. It's not going to work, but I appreciate you trying. Can you give me 3 more? But in the meantime, go do X, Y, Z, which is probably what they wanted to do anyway. And then I said, but I do want you to give me 3 other solutions that you could have come up with. And they'll do it. come back, give me some good ideas, and we'd have fun doing that. So that's probably where I got it from. John Gordon says, what's the genesis, the origin story of Dear Woke Christian? Long story short. Oh, Tawana's in Minnesota. I'm so sorry. I don't know where I got that you lived in Atlanta from. I'm sorry. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away where Joe Biden is the most popular president. So during the summer of love 2020, after George Floyd, I noticed I was on Twitter and I noticed a lot of people who profess to be Christian saying things that were demonstrably not Christian, AKA all white people are this, or AKA all cops are this, or we need reparations, or these systems are racist, and blah, 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 blah. Just whatever the foolishness that they were saying in 2020, it was more than likely stupid. So I started being snarky and I would write tweets saying, hey, dear woke Christian, how do you do this? And it would be something like, how do you give the gospel to a white person? Or, hey, dear woke Christian, how do you present forgiveness or explain to a white person that they must forgive when you just shanghaied them for reparations? How does that work? I don't know how it works. And it was super snarky. It was meant to antagonize people because I don't care. And that's why, and that's long story short, I'm cutting out a lot of juicy bits. But at the end of the day, I started out by writing tweets saying, hey, dear woke Christian. And now, today, I'm Dear Woke Christian. And let us keep this game a-going. And also, John Gordon, there's actually a video on my channel called What's the Name? Or, hey, dear woke Christian, what's up with the name or something like that. I should have had it ready. I should have it like pinned to the top, truthfully, because it answers this question. It gives you all the juicy bits that I skipped over. OFAM said, I laughed too when it happened to me. It kept me out of the military. LOL. At least I didn't go to jail. Amen. Oh, is this it? Look, is this it, Susie? Susie's right there in my mind. Right there. Thank you, Susie. All right. Okay. Okay. I believe Susie just pinned let me see. Is this the whole thing? Let me check real quick. Man, y'all, Susie is the best. It's like she was thinking what I was thinking. There it is. That's the video. And that's it. Well, okay. To the defense, this is the video that explains what I do on Dear World Christian. It doesn't actually explain the name, but it's still a great video, by the way. I like that. I like that guy's hat. And his beard is pretty fancy as well. Okay. All right. Oh, look, let me tell you right now. I enjoy looking at wokeness because it's so ridiculous. And I think my goal, my intent, my desire, John, is to help people say, wait, hold on. It's kind of like if you have a family fight at Thanksgiving dinner and it's over something really, really, really trivial, but you got all of your family, grandma and granddad and nieces and nephews, everybody's arguing and fighting over something super trivial. If you step back from it and you really look at it like, man, this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous what we're arguing about. This is dumb. And so that's how I view the woke ideology. It's just utterly clownery. It's ridiculous. Even, off on a little rabbit trail. So y'all don't want me to get to this video that I got for y'all, but that's okay. I'm giving the people what they need. So yesterday we did the video about the pro-Palestinian protesters that conflicted with and got into a big scuffle with the Philadelphia Pride Parade. I was trying to get all those P's in there, right? So I did find some more videos about that, and it was as bad as you can imagine. Okay. But I saw a video that really just it amazed me. So I'm not going to bring it up because I don't support the person, but the conversation was really, really insightful. It's a man that dresses as a woman. He supports Trump. And so his moniker is Lady MAGA, and he goes around interviewing people at these parades, and he asks them questions, and it's really conflicting because they see it's a man and he's dressed like a woman, so they think that he's with them and supporting of them, and he's asking them really tough questions like, do you know what Palestinians believe, like Palestine believes? Like, and he says, like, he as a man that has chosen to have relationships with other men would be murdered and killed if he was in Palestine. And the woman was trying her best to tie Christians and tie Jews and tie everybody. He's like, no. These are Muslims. Now, the people that you're protesting for, they would kill me. And the woman, it was wild. So the reason I like talking about this stuff is because I realized that these people haven't thought about it. So that woman was literally out here protesting for Palestine and all this other stuff, and she knows nothing about what they believe. Not a thing. It was very, very clear. Now, she's not the telltale for everybody, but I bet you if we pressed a whole bunch of these college students, if we pressed a lot of these people that are protesting in your major cities, we'll realize they don't know what they're talking about. And so the reason I press against wokeness in the Christian church is because I know that the gospel is so much better. Jesus Christ is so much better. He's not this shampoo model that you make him out to be. He's not a Che Rivera revolutionary. He's not a black liberationist. He's God in flesh. And he's so much better than what we make him out to be. The gospel is so much more glorious than what we make it out to be. So therefore, I feel empowered, dare I say, on a mission to make fun of them and to point out the fact that you don't even know what you're talking about. So that's why I'm Dear Woke Christian. All right, let us go. Let us go. Okay, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to show this video to y'all. Now, I want to know, have you all heard that Joe Biden is trying to close the border? Have you heard this story? I was dumbfounded. I said, wait, what universe am I in? I'm in the multiverse. I'm in another universe. What Earth is this? Is this Earth 616? What Earth is this? This is crazy town. Joe Biden is trying to close the border. Why are you laughing about that, Jason? That's a good thing that the border is getting closed, that they're trying to bring the rule of law to bear. Absolutely. I think that's fantastic. The problem is, I'm just wondering, why do you think he's doing it now? Because they threw 34 counts at that guy last Thursday. The man raked in $70 million in 2 days, and they haven't been able to stop him yet. They haven't been able to. And at this point, now that it's like, okay, we need to start doing the things that he wanted to do, because then that way people won't, because it's clear. It's as clear as today is Tuesday that Donald Trump would trounce Joe Biden in a debate and in the election. In a fair election, it's a wrap. I'm sorry. You're going to have to cheat. You're going to have to, Joe. You're going to have to. You're going to have to pull in all the stars and all the amoebas, all the sand on the seashore to vote for you, because otherwise, there's no other way around it. There's no way. So they're starting to do things that quote unquote Republicans, conservatives, and such like that actually want. Did you say $200 million? Yo, can y'all throw some felony charges at me? Oh, look, I'm on sale today. Look, I don't even need 200 million. Can I just help your boy out? What? Wait, hold on. Wait, is that the lead attorneys in the building? Oh man, what's going on, lead? Everybody, the lead attorney. I'm telling you right now, as sure as my name is Jason, this guy right here is a fantastic content creator. I've gleaned so much from him. I done picked his pockets. I done went through his glove box. I done stole the pepper out of his pantry. I done took it all. Everything lead puts out, I'm trying my best to steal it. So y'all shout out lead attorney. Since I owe him all that stuff back anyway, just put lead in the chat. Just drop lead in the chat. At least that way I can pay him back a little bit for all the good content that he's put out there and help this pre-K law student named Jason. Thank you so much. Drop lead in the chat. Let me put it in there myself. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Lee, thanks so much for stopping by, man. Grace and peace. I need to do that. I need to do that. So, and I agree with Lee. Like, look, there's some things that Biden could do, I could guarantee would really make him more appealing as a candidate. And, dropping interest rates would be great. Working on fuel independence would be fantastic. Working on grids to help people be able to handle their quote unquote electric cars and their needs at home. That would be amazing. Those would be some fantastic ways to rectify, if you will, and make this problem a little bit less and make it more appealing. But guess what? Joe Biden is now trying to close the border. I know you hadn't heard this story because I heard it. I almost spit out my hot chocolate. Like, what in the world? So let's pull this in. And guess what? I closed the link. You know why? Because of reasons. Here we go. Here we go. Let's have some fun, y'all.
Biden's new executive order will allow U.S. immigration officials to deport migrants without processing their asylum claims.
We are following very big news on immigration. President Biden signed an executive action that will shut down the border. A shutdown could go into effect immediately.
Biden now scrambling to address the migrant crisis long after saying he's done all he can do in the issue. President granting permits to several border towns today to, quote, expand and continue to maintain crossings, whatever that means, while the administration announced executive action for the border by limiting asylum claims. An estimated 5 million illegal immigrants have now crossed the southwest border during Biden's presidency, as former President Trump declares the border a day one priority.
Now I'm going to do the big deportation, the biggest ever. Eisenhower did the biggest. This will be bigger. But it's a very tough thing. What they've done to our country is unthinkable, that they could do this. And so many other things. I mean, like you go into New York, the kids can't have Little League games anymore. It sounds so trivial, right?
Why?
Because the migrants are living in the fields.
So this is
Okay. I don't know why there's two of me on here. Y'all pray for your boy. Pray for dear Will Christian. I have no idea why there's two of me on here. What is that about? Okay. So I did look that up. And I did not see that there were problems with little leagues as much as, in fact, they did. New York did, in fact, shut down schools in order to house migrants in schools. So it is pretty wild that you're not prioritizing those ones that are right in front of you, the people that are right in your purview, the people that you're responsible to. You're not prioritizing them. You're prioritizing people apart or people that are coming into the country. That is craziness. And I can understand where the consternation, I can understand why the pushback and the issues that they're having in New York are real. But so anyway, I did look into that. So I want to just give y'all a shout out on that. Let us finish this up. Let's go.
big news out of the White House. Today, President Biden signed an executive order that will restrict asylum claims at the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, the action will allow officials to turn away migrants that enter the U.S. illegally without hearing their asylum claims. It's the administration's most aggressive move yet to control the number of illegal crossings at the border. And the president is already receiving criticism from both sides.
You guys know that this is already a very politically charged issue, and it always has been. And now Republicans are pouncing on the increase of the number of migrants that have been processed at and in between ports of entry along the southern border in recent years. But Democrats are blaming Senate Republicans for refusing to do something about it. And that is why President Biden is trying to take action on his own.
Long past time to act.
At the U.S.-Mexico border earlier this year, President Biden urged Congress to pass a border security bill.
Y'all, I'm sorry. It is really hard to take them seriously when now all of a sudden you're coming to the border. You've been in office almost 4 years, my guy, and now you're coming. I think it's again, they threw 34 felony charges at that guy last Thursday. He was able to bring in, I think Susie said, $200 million in campaign donations. They realize there's nothing that they can do to stop this guy. And there's nothing. Let it go. Just beat him in the polls. Beat him in a debate, Joe. I think at this point, a debate is the only thing you can do. The only thing you can do is a debate. And then, but I'm telling you this right now. Whoever runs on the ticket of I'm going to do away with daylight savings time, they got my vote. even both of me. I don't know why there's two of me, but they got both of my votes. Okay, I'm from Chicago, so you vote early and you vote often. So we got both of us. All right, let's go.
Desperately need more resources, need more agents, more officers, more judges, more equipment in order to secure our border.
But last month, Senate Republicans rejected the measure, just as they did in February. Biden's new executive order will allow U.S. immigration officials to deport migrants without processing their asylum claims when the number of illegal border crossings surpasses a specific threshold. That number is likely 2,500 a day, which means it would likely be activated immediately. In May, Border Patrol recorded an average of 3,800 crossings daily. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Biden's action does not go far enough.
It's too little, too late. Now he's trying to desperately show the American people somehow that he wants to address the issue that he himself created.
Former acting director of ICE, John Sandweg, says Biden's order will help.
These administrative actions are not going to solve the situation at the border. They will make a big difference. They will bring a lot of order to the border.
And serve a political purpose, with immigration a top campaign issue among voters.
Just the act of issuing this administrative action gives the president another talking point in upcoming debates.
The mayors of some border communities have been invited here to the White House for the president's expected announcement and signing of this executive order, which is likely going to be challenged in court because, Anne-Marie, nearly all of Biden's immigration policies have led to a lawsuit.
So no surprise, the Trump campaign came out with a very critical statement. But one of the things that they brought up in the statement was that minors are exempt from Biden's new policy. Do we know anything more about how children would be treated under this policy?
Well, the Trump campaign is correct.
I'm sorry. Whoa.
Again by themselves, and that is why they will be held here and processed.
National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto joins us now. Art, would you please untangle for me what Biden is talking about? Is anything he's proposing, these maintaining crossings or these new executive orders, will it do anything to stem the flow of illegal migrants?
Look, it's quite a mess, and people need to understand that that mess was created by this administration. And if they were going to allow so many individuals to come into the country and ask for asylum, they surely had to have come up with a plan for those individuals that would not have an actual asylum claim. And once again, they didn't even plan for that. So when you start talking about mass deportations, that's obviously something that this administration should have thought of in the first place. Not everyone that's asking for asylum has a real asylum claim. In fact, the majority of them don't. So somebody's got a plan for them to go to the actual court case and show what their claim is. And unfortunately, you're just getting more smoke and mirrors by this current administration right now. I mean, you remember they had that FAST app at the border. That didn't work out. Again, I think it's just them reaching out, continuing to baffle the American public because they realize that, they created the mess and elections are coming up.
And the smoke and mirrors is what I want to parse through with you specifically right now. I saw a Wall Street Journal alert that indicated this executive action that potentially say, no more, I'm closing the border down. It's not going to have necessarily a threshold where a certain amount of, illegal migrants can cross per day. That seemed to be the discussion before. So what I'm hearing is there will be a lot of pushback to that. It's got to go through Congress. He needs money to be able to do it, and that it won't actually happen. So I see an election coming, a desperate president who's going to now flip-flop on his position, knowing that it can't actually be seen through. And this new policy that's coming out today is like he's drawing little drawbridges in places where the migrants will still know if they go to that spot, they can get over. Art.
Right. And again, that's what it comes down to. It's just, hey, he's trying to show that he's doing something about it without actually doing something about it. And you're exactly right. Look, it's a bunch of backstepping now. He has to admit that the last administration actually had a lot more things under control. And he's going to have to go back to some of those policies in order to try to at least stop the flow. But the floodgates were opened by this administration. And stopping the flow isn't just what they need to concentrate on. They they need to figure out how do you get the individuals that are already here that you allowed to come in here back to their countries, or at least listen to their actual claims to see what claim they have. And they have no plan for that at all.
On a policy perspective, I'm curious, once they're here, do work permits help at least give them work, or does that then just encourage more illegal immigration? Do work permits help, or does that just increase more illegal immigration?
I think work permits would help if they go through the right process of receiving those permits. Obviously, you can't just make a blank statement and say, hey, just hand out the work permits. You can't hand out the work permits how you chose to hand out, catch and release forms at the end of the day. So you have to vet them correctly in order to get the things done properly.
Yeah, vetting seems to be the big X factor here that isn't working so well.
Patrol Counsel Chris Cabrera is here. All right, Chris, does this executive order make a difference with the number of people coming across the border, either A, before June 27th, the first debate, or B, and perhaps more importantly, before the November election, to the point that voters may not have the immigration issue as much on top of mind for them?
No, I don't think it makes a difference at all. I don't think much is going to be accomplished out of this. I think if you're setting a threshold at 4,000, it's unclear if that's going to be per location or nationwide. And on top of that, would you let the first 4,000 drunk drivers go? Wow. If you're gonna stop it, stop it. If you have the power to close the border, and anything else is just window dressing.
Well, to be fair, your president, Brandon Judge, was for the bipartisan deal that included this circuit breaker top line number. I understand what you're saying about the 4,000 drunk drivers. It's a good point when you think about the people who are coming across. But if we just put up the numbers quickly in terms of encounters at all on the border, you can think about this practically as you are. You can think about it politically as the way the White House will. And the White House is going to say, look, come September or October, we did this executive order, despite the fact that Congress didn't want to help us. And then the numbers came down. And what I'm trying to figure out from you is, do you think that the word getting out to the rest of the world that, hey, asylum's harder, President Biden did something on, is going to have a psychological effect and lower the number of encounters?
I don't believe so. I really don't. I've been doing this for some, 20 some odd years. I know usually election years, the numbers spike up a little bit. And, getting back to that bipartisan deal, that was something Congress was, Democrats and Republicans were trying to come to some type of happy medium with. And with the president, if he's going to do executive order, he doesn't really need to fall into that. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to bring the numbers down. Even if it does bring them down a tick, a friend of mine used to tell me that better than bad is not necessarily good. If you're looking at 150, 200,000 people coming a month, 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we were looking at 20 to 30,000 a month, sometimes 40 on a busy month. So yeah, even though he's bringing them down, even if he cuts his numbers in half, it's still higher than what it's traditionally been.
Wow.
Hey, it's Kelly Meyer here. I just wanted to jump in with a quick question. Thank you for being with us, by the way. I know we're talking a lot about the timing of all of this. I'm just curious what you think. Why do you think President Biden is doing this now? A lot of people, a lot of reaction in Washington here is that, it's too little too late. He should have done this sooner. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's good that he's finally doing something. I think he's doing it for the wrong reasons. I think it's political. He's pandering for votes. And I think the unfortunate side of this is a lot of folks up in D.C. see this as an issue to get votes. But us down here on ground level, we see the human suffering that's brought along with this, the women and children that are exploited in this, and for somebody to go after it purely for votes is that's just not right.
And then to Leland's point, if I could jump in with one more, sorry, just a quick question. You said, how soon will this take effect? I know you were asking me, Leland. I'm curious what you think about that. How soon will this make a difference for those border communities that are saying so much they need help right now?
Hopefully if it goes through, if they do it, depending on the loopholes involved, I know there were several in the last one that they had proposed. It may bring some relief to some of these places that aren't seeing those high numbers, like Rio Grande Valley has slowed exponentially. Same with Big Bend. For California, I don't see it making too much of a difference if they're catching 30,000 a day, and you take 4,000 out of that mix. I don't think it's going to really make that big of a dent for those.
30,000 a day.
A day.
Wow. You think about that.
I mean,
That's a basketball arena plus some.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a month's worth under previous presidents.
All right. So what in the world? Okay. I don't know why my camera's doing that. Let me see if the spy cam is working. Okay, the spy cam is working. I don't know what. Okay. I have no idea why that's doing that. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much. Yeah, that is such a wild story. And I just wanted to give y'all an opportunity to check it out. Why do you think Biden's doing that now? Do you think he's only pandering for votes? Do you think he really truly wants to protect the American people? There's a fantastic video that I got. It's really long though. I don't want to do that to y'all. It's looking at a deep dive into the sanctuary city. So he's looking specifically at New York. It is a great video, excellent video. And he really dives in and really explains what's going on in the sanctuary city. And, because I didn't realize how many buses are coming from like Texas and border states to New York. There's a lot of them. I didn't realize how many there were. There's a lot of them coming. And I mean, that's got to be a wild drive anyway. But why do you think? So I dropped the link in the chat. If you want to jump on, you can. I'd love to hear about it. Tell me what you think about it. I like how OFAM says he's worried. He's worried. I agree. Sorry. He's worried. I agree 100%. He's definitely pandering. Tawanda says, definitely. Limit the side cam. Limit the side cam by supporting Dear Woke Christian. Let me put the side cam back up. All right. All right. It doesn't look too bad. Let's see. I feel like it's too bright on this side now. I feel like because there's literally a light right behind it, and I feel like it's just casting a lot of light on me. Let me see real quick. Let me see how it looks. Okay, it's a little better. The color's a little better, I think. But okay. All right. So I'm gonna drop the side cam for right now. I gotta figure out what happened to that other camera. Why I was looking like that. Why I had two cameras. That was craziness. But if you don't play it, can you share it? Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a really good video. But here, let's do this. Hold on a second. Here, let me snag it real quick. I mean, I could play it. I mean, I don't think the content creator would be mad if we did a little watch party. But he seems to do a lot of documentaries, and they're well produced. They're very well produced. 65,000 New York migrants just became homeless. That's the name of it. And it was an excellent summary of what's going on in New York City with all these migrants. And here, I'm going to drop it in here. I got to reflect on my mind real quick. It's not really that long. What am I talking about? Actually, the other one was longer. Let's do it. Come on. All right. Let's do this. Everybody, real quick. It is currently 8:15. So I'm going to start this in a minute. If you need to go to the restroom, if you need to go get some water, go ahead and do that. We're going to start in 5 minutes. All right. Reading some questions real quick while I do that. Oh, wait. Apex says, Dear Woke Christian, there is a video that explains immigrants at the border are requesting to go to New York for the sole purpose of the money and accommodations they receive based on word of mouth. I totally believe that. He kind of alludes to that, so I wouldn't be. That's not cap, as the kids like to say, or as I like to say, that's facts and evidence. No, absolutely, I totally believe that, and we're gonna look at that in a second. Here, I'm gonna drop the video in.
With new waves of asylum seekers arriving weekly.
Okay, good. Now I got one Jason here again. So no more twin Jason. I have no idea why there's two of me earlier. Is this DWC running 5 minutes or the YS? Oh, no, definitely. No, this is anal retentive. Always got to be on time. Jason 5 minutes. So no, we are not doing the YSL thing. Or even, hey, let's be honest, like that Georgia Senate committee, they would take 10 minutes and it was half an hour all the time. And I'm like, all of y'all are white people. What's up with y'all, man? Y'all can't be on time? That's terrible. That's such a horrible joke. That's terrible, man. Let me give myself a penalty for that. Like, man, come on now. All right. Yeah, and okay. And I would love, I'm being for real, because I like ideas. I would love, as you're watching this, just think about what is a solution that you, because at the end, he does ask, like, what would be a solution? What's a good solution? I would love to know, what do you think would be a good solution to this problem? So give you the high 30,000 foot view. They're bringing in migrants, but after a certain period, they're kicking the migrants out of the housing to take in new migrants. So basically, these migrants are now becoming homeless. And I mean, you already got homeless. You already have tons of other strains on the system. And it just seems like, and the guy explains it so well. I was really impressed. I always like when I step back from a video and say, hey, I kind of understand that. That's always my litmus test for whether or not it's something good. Like, I kind of got that. Especially if I wasn't paying full attention. I'm like, oh, I still got that. That's how you know it's a good lesson. And I definitely learned that from being a teacher. But I think it's interesting. So it's just a few minutes. It's actually 16 minutes long. I'll just play it. I'm not going to add a lot of commentary to it because, again, I think he does a fantastic job. And I also want to move my face out of the way because I don't want to ruin the video. So, okay. So work requirements, okay, that was immediately what I was thinking, OFAM, but they make a mention about workers' permits. And I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. So do they get to go up front of the line than the people that are homeless in New York State, or New York City, please forgive me. I mean, now there's tons of reasons why people might be homeless, but maybe they truly are employable, because you're going to see a lot of employable men in this video, just literally in a few seconds. You can be like, these are a lot of able-bodied people. Like, what if New York City just made some changes to their tax code that would allow businesses to grow and be able to hire some of these people? Maybe that could be, I don't know. I mean, you're going to see it. There's a lot. I don't see, but I'm worried about, these are people that are not Americans. They literally are coming. I don't know if we want to arm and train, because I do believe, like Susie said earlier, like this looks like an invasion. You'll see in a second. So I'm going to start this video up. I'm going to jump my face out of the way. I might still leave the mic on and add commentary, but just check it out. See what you think.
City is evicting migrants from shelters to make room for new families.
These are single adults who've been in the system for 30 days and have not been able to prove that they faced extenuating.
Man, New York City's asylum crisis continues to grow, and every single week, thousands of people come here from the southern border looking for a place to stay. But since the city's shelters are full, the only way to house new people is to kick out the current people, which means that to solve homelessness, the city's gonna make tens of thousands of people homeless. What a plan.
With more than 65,000 migrants currently in the city's shelter system, the city says it can no longer indefinitely house and feed these migrants.
It worries me not knowing where I will go with my kids, especially because I have 3 small children.
I don't know what will be happening next.
Neighbors say the influx of migrants is overwhelming.
It's unfair on them, it's unfair on us.
We've got trash, we've got the constant noise. I mean, it's like Times Square when you come out of your home.
The evictions today are part of a new policy that allow migrants to claim a shelter bed for only 30 or 60 days.
The advocates say they are very concerned that this will lead to an uptick in street homelessness.
We are connecting them to resources, and we are talking to them about what those next steps are.
A lot of people inside shelter, if they just went out on the street, they're going to cause a lot of problems.
Migrants can receive an extension and stay longer than 30 days if they can demonstrate that they have extenuating circumstances.
There is so many people that, with all the will in the world, we can't help them.
So New York City's tough new shelter rules just kicked in, meaning thousands of people will soon be evicted. But what nobody's talking about is that on the one hand, the city is telling everyone to leave, but on the other hand, they're telling everyone that they can stay as long as they've got a valid reason, which has people lining up to try and game the system according to critics. But the sad truth is many people who came here by bus and enrolled in the shelter system did so under false pretenses, saying they were promised that they would not only get help applying for asylum, but housing and care to get back on their feet, along with access to education, and most importantly, assistance finding a job. But if you ask the people who are in line right now with no job trying to get a place to stay, they'll tell you it didn't work out that way. Yet the process of getting a work permit is up to the federal government, and right now all over town you've got local groups protesting the fact that people are here who can't do anything. But if you think caring for 65,000 people who've been lied to sounds like a problem, things are about to get even worse for the city, because all over town you've got local advocacy groups upset that shelters in their neighborhoods exist. Residents are complaining that the shelters bring disruptions to their neighborhoods and occupy valuable public resources. And that exposes the real reason why we have an asylum crisis here that looks the way that it does. Because recent polling indicates 80% of New Yorkers are in favor of right to shelter. Yet for some reason, every time the city tries to set up a shelter in a various neighborhood, that's always the wrong location. It's always either inhumane or unsafe, or it's just the wrong place. And at the same time, residents are furious with the city that the people in those same shelters can't earn a living and provide for themselves. Yet that is a federal issue. That's not something the mayor has any control over, which means New Yorkers may be ignorant of the ramifications of policies they say they're in favor of. Because even though the mayor wants to, he can't just magically put people to work. On top of that, even though it looks like the city's new policy of evicting everybody after as little as 30 days is designed to bring this crisis to an end, there are so many holes in this new system of evictions that critics say it's going to make the asylum crisis drag out longer. While at the exact same time, bus after bus from the southern border continues to arrive, bringing thousands of people who need a place to stay. And some people say this new plan of evictions combined with all of the new arrivals is a recipe for disaster.
Meanwhile, 1,300 migrants arrived in New York City last week. Beginning Wednesday, the city started evicting migrants from shelters under a new policy that limits the amount of time an asylum seeker can claim a bed. Let's bring in CBS News.
So here we are inside the bus terminal where folks arrive from the southern border, but we can't have a crisis here in New York City unless there's another bigger crisis off in the distance somewhere south of here. And that is exactly the current situation that we have. 3,700 people a day cross the southern border, and every week you have around 1,300 people on average arriving here in the city. And by the way, that's just the official number of people that the city knows have arrived who've gone through its various intake and processing centers. Anybody who comes here and doesn't go through the official way to get housing, the city may not know they exist. Which makes it pretty hard to manage shelter bed capacity if you don't have any firm idea of who may need a place to stay and who may not. Which is why the city's shelters are completely maxed out right now and they're telling people to leave. And what's crazy about that is it means the same rules that were designed to stop people from being homeless are now the reason people are homeless, making this a revolving door operation that critics say helps nobody.
So here's the thing, the New York City officials are just run out of space. And so they've decided on a new policy that allows them to limit the stay for adult males and adult families with no children to 30 days. And the reason for it is that they're hoping to be able to move about 15,000 people out of shelter and into some kind of permanency, whether it's leaving the city or finding...
So the city claims it doesn't want to kick people out, which makes sense to me, but this idea that everyone is transitioning to permanent housing, or at least a majority are, that's being disputed. And that's because the evictions themselves, they do clear shelter bed space, but they also do something else. And the fascinating thing about them is that most of the people who get kicked out don't come back. Almost half the families who've been evicted from shelters haven't returned, and families can reapply as often as they want. They're not banned from getting another shot. And that means the real number of evictions for single adults is likely higher because they don't have kids in school. It's easier for them to pack up and leave and go wherever they want. And they aren't eligible for the prepaid debit cards that help with nutrition assistance. And as bad as this sounds, when the asylum crisis first started, the mayor actually tried to cancel right to shelter, but he was blocked. Had he been able to block right to shelter, the people already in the shelter system probably would have gotten to stay for a lot longer than 30 days. Yet the mayor was unsuccessful in his efforts, and over the preceding 9 months, he had to negotiate with local activists, migrants who were calling for the city to maintain an unlimited right to shelter policy that would apply to everybody, even if the city was tapped out as far as resources go. And now we've got a situation that kicks people out of the shelters before they've done their job, which is supposed to be to prepare people to enter society as contributing members of it.
What are the concerns right now that this could lead to an increase in homelessness in the city?
Well, you see, in terms of the 30-day policy, you can have extenuating circumstances. So, for example, if you've had a major medical procedure or like a pregnancy.
Okay, so if this system isn't going to lead to homelessness and anybody who wants to reapply can as long as they have a valid excuse, what exactly is going on here? Because this article right here reveals that most people are getting approved for an extension if they want one. In fact, out of the 190 people who requested an extension, 119 got one, which is a 60% reapplication acceptance rate. And this brings up a few questions that nobody really has any good answers to. For example, how much vetting does the city do? Are they checking people's leases? Are they contacting people's landlords? Are they talking to doctors to see if the medical appointments are verified? And if the city's willing to let a good number of people stay in the shelters if they want, why do they have a system that forces people to wait in the hot sun or in the rain potentially to beg for another placement? Has the city created a program that is deliberately inconvenient or one that rewards possible deception? The sad reality is most likely that the city understands the more difficult they make it for you to get replaced in a shelter, the more people will say, you know what, I've had enough of this, I am just gonna leave town. Which is somewhat ironic because this is America's largest sanctuary city, and as an immigrant you'd expect there to be more sympathy for your cause here than anywhere else, yet that's not necessarily the case. And nowhere is that more obvious and more true than in areas of town where the city has been able to set up shelters that are successful by its standards, yet local residents are furious that the shelters are still there, and they're not exactly hiding it. So here we are on Hall Street at the city's largest shelter for asylum seekers that is not a gigantic tent in a field somewhere. These facilities that you see behind me, you have one shelter that is designed for families and another down the street that is designed for single adults. This article actually says almost 4,000 people live in these two buildings. And what's crazy is that even though 80% of New Yorkers say they're in favor of right to shelter, residents here want these two facilities shut down, or at least they want more resources put into the neighborhood. Because their complaints are that these shelters are too large for the infrastructure that's here already.
A new plea to the city for more resources to help with the migrant crisis in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn.
Neighbors say crowds are creating noise and trash and that the asylum seekers need an opportunity to make a living. CBS 2's
So when you hear the word more resources, that's residents saying that there's a problem and the city needs to fix it somehow. Either by spending money in some capacity to make it so that the resources that are here are more plentiful, or by controversially removing the resources that are here so that everything disappears. And even though local residents are not exactly happy with the presence of this particular facility, if you had to pick a location for a shelter that was going to house a lot of people, this is a pretty good spot for it. It's in an out-of-the-way location. It's literally next to an expressway. Across the street you have cars parked under a bridge. And the building itself used to be a former mixed-use space, commercial, industrial. But what's unbelievable is how many local residents have a problem with the existence of this facility. This is like the only location, yet here we've got a packed town hall of people who are upset.
Sitting outside on a warm spring night, neighbors say the influx of migrants in Clinton Hill is overwhelming.
It's unfair on them, it's unfair on us. We've got trash, we've got the constant noise. I mean, it's like Times Square when you come out of your home.
There are two shelters.
Did you hear that? Neighbors are saying that this shelter is unfair to the people who've decided to move in. Now, definitely a system that evicts people after 30 days is not a fair system. However, to say that the facility is overcrowded when it meets the city's standards for how many people can live somewhere, that makes it look like residents are searching for reasons for why the shelter needs to go. And perhaps the asylum seekers feel that this is the best place for them. They've traveled very far to come here, and many who go to the reapplication facility want to stay if they can. But residents are saying they can't bear the presence of the shelter in this neighborhood, and neither can the asylum seekers. And they're saying people don't deserve to live in a room that has several hundred beds in it. They're saying it's not the asylum seekers. We just need a new paradigm for how we're going to go about dealing with this. That's what they're saying, but the city had to build this place in line with fire code and in line with its other regulations. And the people saying that, these are millionaires living in condos around here, or at least people that are able to pay several $1,000s a month in rent and earn a living in this economy. It's a different standard that they have. And what's interesting about these comments is you don't hear them about the city's other shelter system, which is technically separate than the one for asylum seekers, which houses people who are New Yorkers. No one's saying that their conditions are inhumane, yet it's the same design.
There are two shelters nearby that house single individuals and families.
Trying to support the people that have come to this neighborhood with clothes, food, and all that kind of stuff. But there is so many people that, with all the will in the world, we can't help them. We need something bigger here.
Neighbors posted.
Now, as someone who lives here and has been covering this for quite a while, it's hard to understand exactly where people are coming from. And what do they mean that they need something bigger here? This place is already massive. Maybe they want the city to invest more resources than it already is. However, New York's already a top destination for asylum seekers. And that's certainly not for a lack of generosity. The safety net here is already incredible. New York's got caseworkers lined up to help people as soon as they get here. There's clothing, there's food, there's medical resources, there's education for dependents like children. But perhaps the real issue here is that people think that these shelters are just too big for this neighborhood. They may have not expected that a shelter this big would end up here. The local news outlet reported as much, saying that residents were concerned about the exact size of these shelter systems. And what that means is, although many people in New York may say that they support the city's right to shelter, nobody really wants to be the first to offer that support or to be the recipient of that support, especially in this part of town, apparently. Okay, so here we are in Clinton Hill. This is the neighborhood where the shelters exist. They are a few blocks away, again, on the other side of that highway, and this looks and feels how it always has looked, which might make it look like the residents who say that they have a problem with how things are being handled are blowing things up out of proportion. At the same time, none of us live here, none of us have firsthand experience. We can only go by what the news tells us, and with what we see, which is one of the nicest neighborhoods in Brooklyn. But as you're about to see, that might be part of the problem.
Meanwhile, neighbors say they're doing what they can.
We're happy to help people, like we really are. Like we did trash pickup, and we've gotten the migrants to help us with the trash pickup. Like they want to work.
Some are upset at their current quality.
So as a humble observer of this situation, what it looks like we're witnessing here is a misunderstanding of how U.S. immigration law actually works and what responsibilities the city, the state, and the federal government have. For example, at all of the city's shelters, residents need to understand money is being spent so people can claim asylum. This is a technical term, and somebody claiming asylum fears persecution or harm in their home country, which is why they don't want to return. And the people who are granted asylum are allowed to remain in the United States without fear of deportation. But what not everybody knows is that asylum is not a guaranteed right to just do whatever you want once you're here in America. And the reason you see so many people hanging out at the shelters, seemingly not doing anything, well, they are doing something. They're doing what they have to do, and that is wait for the asylum process to conclude. And right on the U.S. government's own immigration website, it talks about how work permission needs to take 150 days. And not only is this how things work today, but this has been the law in this country for a long time, which makes it somewhat surprising that people seem to have a problem with it. Unless, of course, most New Yorkers don't understand how immigration and work authorization work together and what that process is actually like. Perhaps they're surprised that people are here with nothing to do.
The mayor's office says hundreds of migrants continue to show up every day. They tell us the city has spent more than $4 billion on the migrant crisis, and right now there are no extra funds to spend.
Yeah, I get it. People are upset with how the city's handling things at the shelter. Everybody knows that that's a bad situation, but what you may be looking at here is the result of people supporting policies they didn't fully understand at the time they supported them. That may explain why the city is spending millions of dollars on the asylum crisis, yet residents aren't really appreciative of that. They want the city to do more than it is. They want them to give out work permits, but the city can't do something like that, which means it almost appears that just as the asylum seekers were baited and switched into enrolling in a system that wasn't actually going to help them, perhaps New Yorkers were baited and switched to an extent by not having their elected representatives fully explain what was going to happen if the asylum crisis played out the way that it has. That's the only explanation I can come up with for why folks who live around here are upset. But the main gripe that many residents seem to have is the issue of work permission. Nobody likes to see many folks who are able-bodied sitting around not being productive, and I'm sure that the people in that situation wish that they were working. However, what good would work permission actually do the asylum seekers? New York City apartments are some of the most expensive in the entire country. And if you're in one of the city's shelters and right now you're working a delivery job, it might be difficult to move up the economic ladder quickly enough to secure your own New York City apartment in 30 days. This is probably why the city's granting so many extensions. They know they're asking the impossible of people who've just gotten here. And the other problem, aside from the expensive, overpriced housing problem, is do we even have enough jobs? Is the economy even big enough to take in everybody who wants to start working immediately? Yes, New York's got a massive economy. You've got restaurants, you've got trucking. Every block here has hundreds of little businesses on it. But it might be that even if everybody gets a work permit today, the local economy doesn't have a position for them tomorrow, which could mean that that even with a work permit, the housing situation and the job situation don't change for many of the folks that are in the shelters right now. And the city may have to continue supporting people who need assistance. And there's really no easy way to say this. If you want to live up here and have your coffee down here, you're gonna need a 6-figure income. And this could mean the reason New York City's shelters keep growing, they keep signing new contracts and extending their current leases, building new facilities. This could be because city leaders are aware that this is going to continue for the foreseeable future, no matter what happens with things like work permits, because those won't immediately change the predicament of people who need assistance for more than 30 days. What do you think about that? Is New York City in a position where there's no way out of the asylum crisis? What would you do to fix it? How would you help the people who are in the shelters? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
All right, there you go. Get in the chat, get your fingers. I know you were thinking of some ideas. Let's resolve this problem. Come on, we're about to call, what's his name, Mayor Adams. We're about to call him and say, hey, we've come up with it. You know, Dear Woke Consultants has come up with the migrant crisis solution. So drop it in the chat. Let's see what we got. All right, I'm going to start right here. A migrant from the Middle East stabbed a bunch of people in Germany, I think, yesterday. Man, he deleted a police officer. Wow. The sanctuary cities are crying foul now that they have to provide the sanctuary they were offering. Yikes. They never expected migrants to make it that far north, apparently. That is true. I wonder how Chicago's doing, though. I would love to hear what's going on in Chicago. A country can have many different nationalities, but must have only one culture. I agree 100%. Oh, no, the consequences of my actions. All right, work permits equal voting rights. Okay, I got you. I'm trying to think, work permits, voting rights. Truthfully, I want fewer people voting. And I'm not as draconian as going back to only land-owning males should vote. Not doing that. But I don't think everybody should vote. And I think the fewer people, I don't think we have an educated populace now. Where am I? Sorry, I lost that one. We don't have an educated populace. Even Americans aren't educated enough to know what they're voting for. We just saw that. The New Yorkers are voting for stuff they don't even know how it works. So I don't think having a migrant population that doesn't know the left hand from the right hand is going to be a good look either. So I don't know if I'm keen on that one, Apex, but I'm willing to listen. The thing is, says Tawanda, they don't read. So now they want to boo-hoo about it. Serves them right. I'm not gloating. I'm just saying it's the consequences of their decisions. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Seems a lot of things are backfiring on the Dems lately. Come on. Let's give it.
Got him.
Voting rights is the end game. That is the genesis of this issue. Yeah, I think this is basically what we need to do. Now, I've always said, like, when people come across the border, why not just have buses and cart them back into Mexico or another city, Mexico, and into just drop them off and get out of there. Like, why not? Like, why do they have to come into the United States? And I understand if you're already saying that you're not listening to asylum. So basically you could say the border's closed. We're not taking asylum seekers, period. Careful what you wish for. I agree. Anybody who voted for this and didn't see this coming, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you, Future. Absolutely. No, Shara's not playing any games. I'm with her. I'm Team Shara. Just deport them. I don't understand, truthfully. Like, why do they have to come? I understand what Texas and I think it's Arizona is doing by sending them to New York. I got you. I understand that. But why not just send them back to, why? Just turn them around and march them right back. I agree. Shut the border. That's it. Man, you better, there's some that have been in Atlanta. All right, let's keep it going. So you get the cruise ship, pull it into New York Harbor, offer free cruise to undocumented. First port of call is Mexico. Last port call is Mexico. There you go. I like how you did that. I do like how you did that. I mean, truth be told, I don't think that would probably, the problem is the safety issue. And yeah, that'd be the only thing. I agree. Need to take the test and voting for voting rights. Yeah, I am not team everybody should vote. Definitely not team everybody should vote. So Candace covered it in Blackout. Okay, I have to check that out. I'm currently reading The Naked Capitalist, and which is a companion book to The Naked Communist. All right. As a Hispanic person, it annoys me to no end that people just think I'm all for illegal immigration. I agree. I think in that regard, the Hispanic population is very similar to the black population in that regard. They think that everybody agrees or thinks it a certain way. And no, that's not the case at all. Not even a little bit. All right. Let's see. The deport bus, the deport boat, please. Soon they'll be making another cruise. I like it. Minneapolis does have a lot of them. You're correct. Repeal the 19th Amendment. I hear you. I hear you. I love it. Excellent. Thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just thought that was a good conversation. I do think it's interesting that Biden is now basically supporting a very similar, a Trump-esque solution to a problem. Now, granted, Trump's saying that he's going to deport them. So hopefully Biden will get on that too and start deporting them now as well. And then lose in November, and then Trump can come in and really get them up out of here. I think there would be a lot of benefit and blessing to that. Let's see. Yeah, and I agree with transplanted Texan. Lots of people who've done things the right way do not honor and respect those who do it wrong. And so their end is that. So perfect. And again, same thing with, the black society. Black culture does not accept a lot of the things that when the metal meets the meat, a lot of black people look down on things, other black people that cut corners, if you will, or do things illegally. They don't appreciate those. So therefore, I can totally understand the Hispanic population doing that. All right. It looks like good conversation going on up in here. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I just wanted to go back over the gentleman that was driving without his license. I would love lead attorney to explain that if he was here. I would love to hear what he thinks about that whole case. And what was it? Friend of the court. And you know what? When the friend of the court is not your friend, that should be the title of that episode. And then also to look at Weekends at Bernie is making decisions that look very Trump-esque in closing the border. Why is it closing the border now? You've had more time than enough to do that. Why are you doing it now? Huh? Why? Oh, because Trump is trouncing you. You know you're about to get shellacked by that guy in November. And it's still going to be all good. I think he's giving lip service, and Biden has no real intention of changing anything. I agree. Now, that I do agree with. And I think we heard it on the first video, where they said, rumors going to start spreading as harder to harder to get asylum in the United States, and people are going to start turning back around, so on and so forth. I totally believe that might be part of the problem. I can totally get that. All right. Future, we laughed. Look, we all laughed together. Because it was funny. It was funny, man. It was funny. Especially when we initially saw it, because we thought, like, this guy, all we could think about is like, what in the world? Why is he such a bonehead? And so on and so forth. So I laughed. I think I got a thumbnail. I made a thumbnail out of it. Here it is. Here's the picture. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, that guy's face was classic. That's classic. Classic. So you have my permission to laugh. If anybody's mad at you, you can get crypto indulgences or NFT indulgences and use them to pay your penance. But everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. This was a lot of fun. The goal is to do a live stream tomorrow. I'll probably be doing a live stream from the studio in the morning and talking about some things about being a studio owner over there at Podium Studios. I appreciate y'all. So check that out on Dear World Christian Podcast, as well as on Podium Studios YouTube channel as well. And I think that's probably true to Juan to say he just needed to show his face because Trump was getting all the attention. I agree. But to me, they've put themselves in a pickle because they've spent the better part of 2 years literally from, do y'all remember when they were trying to impeach Trump? And then, I mean, they just keep the man's name in the news. Kind of like Fonnie Willis. They just keep her name in the news. She's in the zeitgeist. Everybody knows who she is. Everybody knows about the pink dress. Everybody knows about Trump's hair. Everybody knows about the Trump dance, so on and so forth. They keep bringing him up, but they don't have anything akin to that for Biden. He doesn't draw a crowd. He doesn't get people amped up and excited about what he's talking about. And therein is the problem, in my opinion, that the reason I'm looking real quick is because there was a video of Biden doing a rally yesterday, and it was pitiful. Did I pull it up? Oh no, I didn't. It was a Biden rally, and it was horrible. I mean, the staffers actually had to space people out in order to let me pull it up real quick, in order to at least make the room look a little bit more full. All right, let me see. What was it? Where is that? Did I down? Or maybe it was sorry about that. If y'all saw how many different thumbnails I've come up with, y'all would be like, dude, what is wrong with you? I try to make a thumbnail before I make the video or before I do a live, and I have a ton of them. I don't see it. Oh my goodness, I apologize. I don't know where I did with it. All right, we're gonna do one more look. And then you add the complexity of the fact that I'm using a Mac and I'm not the Mac man. And then you just like stretch your hand and just pray for me. Just pray for your boy. All right, let me see if I find it real quick. Okay, here we go real quick. I'm just going to show you this real quick. And this is what I didn't even plan on doing this. So let's just pull it in and let's have a little bit of quick fun. We're always having fun over here. This is the best.
The president appeared at a campaign rally in New Hampshire Tuesday. It was a disaster in every possible way. Badly planned, poorly attended, and perhaps worst of all, ridiculed by local media. No campaign wants this, but that's what Biden got. The event was held at the Westwood Park Y in Nashua. Even though the speaker was the president of the United States of America, it was half empty. Campaign staff spread the attendees around the room to disguise the low turnout. As they waited for him to take the stage, the crowd was subdued. No buzz, no excitement, no enthusiasm. Elevator music was playing. And then he spoke for just 12 minutes. The topic? The PACT Act. Now, that's a law that helps veterans exposed to toxic chemicals. But what a strange subject for a campaign rally. It's hard to make the PACT Act inspiring, and the president just couldn't deliver.
So that's what I'm talking about. And somebody brought it up right here, retired. There you go. The media gave Trump endless coverage and made him a household name. I mean, their hatred of him is backfiring on them big time. And I just, it's interesting to me. I find it very comical because his commentary was great. It was epic. Accent makes it more entertaining. Yeah, that's just a dinner party. So I'm finding it interesting. Like why, maybe, how about this one? Maybe the whole thing with the executive order, the EO about the border was to take attention off of the Hunter Biden case. What about that? Maybe that's why. Because and again, if it doesn't go anywhere, nobody's going to ask any questions. Just like reparations, just like student loan forgiveness. People will forget it that they promised you this and said they were going to do it and never deliver. But just vote for me anyway. Maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know. But it is what it is. So I appreciate y'all, man. That's a lot of fun. And the goal, the intention is, of course, to do a live stream tomorrow. And I appreciate y'all coming through and adding value to the conversation, keeping it engaging and so on and so forth. Because that's why we do this. And of course, to have that good interaction, have a good time going back and forth, all that kind of good jazz. And then of course, to learn new things. So we learned about New York, of course. We heard, hopefully that gentleman that was driving without his license is going to get a come up from that. Hopefully he'll, he's contacting State Farm. He's in negotiations with the General or Goodyear or whatever, and get some endorsement deals from that, and which will ultimately pay him far more dividends than just suing. But and then we looked at the migrant crisis, man. I thought it was just interesting. So I appreciate y'all hanging out. Oh no, transplanted Texan, why do you do this to me? President Felon is greater than President Dr. Alumnus Joe with raisin potato salad at the Morehouse barbecue. Now, see, that's what you get for being funny, because you wrote Morehead and it's actually Morehouse. See, that's what you get. That's what you get. That was actually kind of funny, though. Hit the like button because Transplanted Texan is trying to redeem himself. Absolutely. He's insulted me again because Joe is a Morehouse man, allegedly. But I did find it interesting how many men from Morehouse didn't notice that, didn't pay attention to that fact. I'm like, you do realize he's your brother, right? I mean, he can do it with Shaquille O'Neal. That's fine. The General, I mean, come on. That would be the best. That would be the best. The General and Shaq. Come on. At least we got our license. Something. I think it would be great. I think it would be hilarious. But we'll see. We'll see. Prayerfully, good things will come from it for him. I think it'll be fun if some good things come out of it. Help him out. Because Lord knows he became a meme. I mean, that's never going to change. He's going to be that meme forever. Even though there's countless other people that have done this. What's his name? Mr. Harris, Corey Harris is going to be the meme of driving without a license, whatever like that, thinking everything's going right and then it's not. So that's wild. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, down in the comment section after this live stream is over, if you don't mind, just let me know what you liked or what you didn't like. Maybe if there's a timestamp of a part that was you really enjoyed, whatever like that. Leave it in the comment section. I will definitely come back by and check them out after dinner and just kind of see what other things that I can do, however else I can add value here on Dear Woke Christian, because I do want to make sure I'm giving you all what you asked for. Don't talk bad about Jason's Morehouse. Brother, why are y'all like this? Why are y'all like this? Y'all know that was a sore spot. Y'all know that was a sore spot. Why are y'all like this? Come on now. Come on. Y'all are better than this. You're better than this, Shara. You're better than that. But yeah, down in the comments, let me just know what you thought about it. Definitely no commentary about Joe being a Morehouse man. You'll be banned for exactly 3 seconds in the 3 second. I'm sorry, 0 seconds in the 0 second timeout. Absolutely. Email management if you got questions, problems, or concerns. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can also find my t-shirts and my merch on my store. Help me out. Help a brother out. I appreciate it. But everybody, let's do this again real soon. I'm going to go eat dinner. I'm going to try my best not to pay attention to the news because if anything pops off, I got more than enough time to jump back on here, but I'm trying not to. But I appreciate all of you all so much. Thank you so much for having supported me, for having a great May, by the way, again. I think the May numbers are coming in tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that y'all helped me really crush it because I wanted to get 500,000 views. I got really close, 404,000 views, which is amazing for this channel, and I really do appreciate it. And you all made it happen because you all watched the channel. So let's do it again this month. My goal is to get better and better and better. So give me that feedback. It helps me out a whole lot. So I'm going to get ready to bug out of here. I thank y'all so much. Peace and blessings to you. Grace and peace, everybody. And until next time, take care.